That leads me into another story about Dan Reed, the director of the Michael Jackson story, Leaving Neverland, and what is our featured story of the night. All right, everybody, this came in, and an interview came up recently with Dan Reed, who was the director of Leaving Neverland, the story, of course, about Michael Jackson and what happened with all the accusations and the court cases and everything. Well, he came forward and now he said because of this Michael Jackson biopic that's coming out, he says it's going to glorify a man who abused children. He said, he had that 4-hour documentary where he recounted how there was Robson recounted how he had 7 years old when the singer first raped him. And I mean, they go into a lot of this stuff about kids being raped when they're young. And they keep talking about, like, Dan Reed saying no one's canceling this, but why are we glorifying this man? Here's actually what Dan Reed had to say about this whole situation, about the documentary leading into the biopic coming out.
What the total absence of outrage accompanying the announcement of this movie tells us is that Jackson's seduction is still a living force, operating from beyond the grave. It seems that the press, his fans, and the vast older demographic who grew up loving Jackson are willing to set aside his unhealthy relationship with children and just go along with the music.
Yep. So this is what Dan Reed is saying. And for me, when I first heard of the biopic coming out, I'm like, this is awesome because it's Michael Jackson. I look at his legacy of his music career, and that's what I think of. Now, when they announced the biopic, they said, well, this is going to cover all aspects of his life. So will it cover the trial? I'm guessing it will. Will it cover all the controversy? I'm guessing it will. So Dan Reed is jumping ahead saying we shouldn't do this. But if anything, to make a movie like this, it's going to tell a story, just like his told a story. But this is going to tell the whole story of Michael Jackson as opposed to one point of his life, and then let the fans decide what they think about the situation. The court said nothing happened, but the kids said something happened. So we have a crossroads here. I think that Michael Jackson had a fabulous career, a lot of great music. Everybody can say that one of the best dancers, writers, singers out there we've ever had, generations. Just up there with, he's with Elvis. Elvis had rock, Michael had pop. So I didn't surprise me this movie didn't happen. But again, probably didn't happen this long because of all the tribulations that happened in his past, because of the trial, because of the controversy, because of this Leaving Neverland movie, right? Lexi, I'll watch this. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see what his nephew brings to the part and how they cover it. Now, Sabrina, you hear about this. What do you think? Do you think this is a good idea to make this movie? And do you think that it could actually, open people's eyes in a new way that Learning Neverland never had a chance to do?
I agree 100% with what the comment on the screen says, which is Rachel. You can't judge what you think or how you feel about it until you see how they depict him. I mean, is it going to be honest? Is it going to include all of the things that it should include? Is it going to glorify things that it shouldn't? I mean, I don't know. It's all opinion based. Like if whoever's doing it has a certain opinion of him and that is what they want you to see, that is what they will create. So yeah. I can't say that it's going to be good, bad, accurate, or anything else until you see what is in front of you. Honestly. Like, I do have a feeling that it's going to include all of those things. I don't think that they could really make a biopic about him without it. It just depends on how honestly they portray it, So yeah, I understand what the guy is saying. Like, you shouldn't glorify that type of behavior, but like, this is, could be encapsulating this man's entire life from when he was exploited as a child to when he took his last breath. And I'm not saying that that makes anything okay, but it could give you I don't want to say understanding because there is really no understanding with that, but like it could show you what he has gone through as well, and it should show you that. However, it's such a fucked up situation. He was so abused by his family that it's who is going to tell you the real story? Like, how are you going to know what actually happened behind closed doors? Like, I think it's very subjective, and I don't think it can be true to 100%, So I have very mixed emotions about it, honestly.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like until you get the whole story, and you're right. It could from when he was a kid to how he was abused to where he was later on and how he was still a big kid growing up, and that's what he used to say is like he was still a child at heart, and that's why he hung out with children. Of course, we've had all these testimonies come forward being like some fucked up shit happened, but it's a story that's a very gripping story of someone that was so overpopularized and put out there and actually like changed music history. It's such a character that you have to tell the story of. You just have to. And it shouldn't be the good and the bad. You should tell the whole thing. It should be a way of setting the story straight so people don't go down that same fucking road. And that's the problem. It happens to musicians. We had a whole show about this, how fucking the industry fucks people up. And that's what this movie should be. Chris, what do you think about this? Are you excited to see this biopic about this? And do you agree that with the director that this shouldn't happen, or do you think this should happen?
It shouldn't happen.
You don't think it should happen?
No.
Do you think because what he's saying?
Let it go.
You think because like what he said, it was that, that because of the controversy that they're giving light to someone who was a pedophilia.
Yeah.
Do you like Michael Jackson?
Yeah. I like his music. There have been documentaries I've watched, and it's kind of scary to see what I've watched. But who knows? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, and the court of law said nothing, but then here's all these stories. Right. You know what I mean?
You can't. Yeah.
You don't know unless you're there.
I'm not looking forward to a
biopic of him.
A biopic of him. No.
Is there anything that could change your opinion? Like maybe a trailer comes out and you're like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome, or do you think that you're just like tuned out from this completely?
No, I'm tuned out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to watch those documentaries, but I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you're gonna watch it.
I'm sure you're gonna watch it.
I mean, I am. I mean, Chris, you didn't want to watch those documentaries either, and like it was very hard for you to watch, but you still watched them, didn't you?
What?
Oh, the documentaries on Michael Jackson.
Oh yes, I did. I did watch it. And
so you're gonna watch this if it comes out.
It's been enough. I think it's been enough. Like enough.
I'm not saying
how many more? Are we gonna go? Like how many more are we gonna do?
Well, I think this will be it, Chris. I think after they do this, that will be it. I think that will put it to bed. They do his biopic, however they're gonna, showcase him. We'll find out, and then I think that'll be it. I don't think there's be a sequel to the Michael Jackson biopic. I think that'll be it. And we'll let go. Yeah, I mean, maybe a 2-part thing. You never know.
No.
I mean, I remember him doing the documentary with, I can't remember his name. He interviewed him. But sure.
Yeah.
Is that
but
correct?
Was it something that stood out? Like, what was it that made you like remember that? What was memorable?
Well, a lot. He interviewed him at Neverland, and it was a little weird talking about the kid.
Everything.
Yeah. But then when that came out, Michael Jackson came out with his side of the story. So
you don't know. You're like not sure. I can tell you're torn.
It's just like, I mean,
I can tell you're torn, Chris. And a lot of people are like that, are like you, Chris. A lot of people are like you that were Michael Jackson fans. You hear all this shit. It makes you not trust him. It makes you look at him differently. And that's why, that's what the documentary came out, to kind of showcase other people's thoughts of like what they saw, especially after the trial. So for me, I still am very interested in this biopic because for me, I think that maybe it will show more, hopefully it dives into that. It showcases what he went through. It showcases the film industry's take on the music industry, how it has fucked people up and made these people like not who they should be. Look at the deaths. Look at the alcohol, the drugs. Look at all the shits that happened to these big celebrities that were musicians and how the industry affected them. And I think that is what this movie should pinpoint and showcase, as opposed to trying to make him look like a good person. Like, show the real story. And I hope that's what it is at the end of the day. And I hope that everyone's happy with that and they get the true side and the whole story. Again, it's going to be over dramatized. That's what they do here. But for me, I'm still excited about it. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. As we say here, only time will tell.